Hi, this week I'm cat sitting, so I have a different set. In just a couple weeks from now, we will have a new persona, a new face, a new actor to identify with Superman, David Corenswet. A new generation will get to meet the character for the first time and hopefully be charmed by his smile and his graciousness, while the previous generation who grew up on Henry Cavill will be confused as to why he's saving people. In this day and age where comic book franchises have become a billion-dollar commodity, the casting of a new Superman has become more similar to the conclave of a new pope than any other regular movie casting. Superman is also tasked with kicking off the brand new DC cinematic universe, of which it certainly will be the captain of, which means the responsibility of portraying the caped Kryptonian is now greater than ever. Because in the age of social media, it's not just limited to a performance on screen, but also off screen. By that I'm talking about their ability to tell funny anecdotes on late night and look cute whilst playing with puppies. Godspeed, David Corenswet. Are you familiar with the term kayfabe? In the scripted and staged world of wrestling, kayfabe is the term used to describe maintaining facade, staying in character and presenting personas, rivalries, and relationships as real. Wrestlers are therefore expected to always speak and act in their crafted alter egos.
Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican? What happened to your accent?
Of course in the ring, but also outside of it, in anything that could be made public. The term also refers to incorporating elements of the wrestlers' personal lives, such as family incidents, relationships, businesses, into the fictional soap opera-like storylines. They're not just highly trained, incredibly fit athletes who have to be ready to go with the physicality and the dangerous stunts. They also need to have incredible stamina and dynamism as stage artists who never drop the act and break the fourth wall. It's constant in a way that is just tiring to even think about. You might be aware of the fact that wrestling and superhero cinematic universes have a lot of things in common. In this case, we'll examine it through the MCU since the DCU is yet to give us anything. Fundamentally, they're both good versus bad, heroes versus villains, faces against heels. These heroes and villains come in many different colorful styles and dresses, each with their own unique catchphrase, gimmick, and theme song. The whole business model of both companies is also built on the foundations of serialized storytelling, where the story is told through multiple episodes/films that ultimately builds up to the much anticipated climactic showdown, which brings everyone's favorite characters together for one big cathartic brawl. Both fan bases are also extremely dedicated and proud in their knowledge of that world, and not only like to be heard, but want to be. And who are the business-minded CEOs to say no to more money? The audiences have control over the storylines and the fate of the characters through how loud they cheer in the stadium or how loud they cheer in the auditorium. If people loudly support a heel, they might get a change of heart and have a face turn. If people start doing backflips at the appearance of a nostalgic figure, you'll bet your ass will get more of it. In the recent years, however, Marvel has lost a lot of credibility as far as storytelling and stakes go. This was with the introduction of the inevitable multiverse. It's a lazy and boring storytelling device that gets rid of any weight actual storytelling decisions bring, but a brilliant business device for fan service, retcons, and reading the room whenever something doesn't bring in the desired butts and seats. The news of Robert Downey Jr. rejoining the MCU, this time as its main villain, is exactly the thing the multiverse allows for, and you cannot tell me that this doesn't sound like a storyline straight out of WWE, especially with how it was revealed and how he's been promoting it. So with all the similarities that wrestling and the MCU share, perhaps there's an argument to be made about kayfabe being another one of them. A very strong argument, in fact. The kayfabe of the MCU, compared to that of WWE, of course differ in some aspects, but remain the same in their core. The facade that these wrestlers are not really who they are is a suspension of disbelief a million times easier to engage with than believing in Mark Ruffalo's ability to turn into the Hulk. And even more unbelievable than that, still having his pants on. As opposed to the WWE, the MCU actors never sell these characters as real. They instead engage in a meta performance through playful interviews, staged social media banter, or carefully orchestrated public appearances, which helps extend their on-screen personas into real life and reinforce the Marvel brand and the emotional investment of the fans. The tight-knit bond between the cast, as well as their love and respect for the source material.
Going all over the country, going from comic book store to comic book store.
Yeah, I'm about to walk into a comic store and that happened.
Is expertly designed to sell you the Marvel dynasty and deepen the audience's attachment to the franchise. This is exactly what kayfabe is in its core. The continued performance beyond the screen, blurring the reality to sell you something far bigger than just movies. In the infinite content circus that mega-budget blockbusters have to exist within, public appearances of these actors, as well as any kind of promotion for these films, and I mean any.
We're getting Fantastic Four, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Honey Nut Cheerios, Reese's Puffs, Lucky Charms, Tricks, and to top it all off, an exclusive Pop-Tart flavor. Are you kidding me? We are so back!
Are discussed and analyzed, clipped and turned into memes as much as, if not more, than the actual movies and shows. We're used to seeing these films themselves as unsatisfying, incomplete setups for the next unsatisfying, incomplete installment of a series. But it doesn't really matter as long as there's more content coming off the production line. And who said the promo cannot be as enjoyable, perhaps even more than the main event? Do you remember the announcement for Deadpool and Wolverine? It was with this video right here titled Deadpool Update. A part of me wants to be lazy and let the video just play out because it makes my points abundantly clear for me, but let me do the honors. We watch Reynolds in his signature sarcastic persona, reading comic books on the toilet, writing the script in character, and overall ponder on what the best idea for a Deadpool sequel would be. He's also slyly promoting his two brands, Wrexham and Aviation Gin in it, but a topic for another day. Then we get the reveal.
Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Just in this clip alone, Jackman has a I'm above this, whatever Ryan type Wolverine attitude, while Reynolds of course channels Deadpool. So, are these guys perfectly cast or what? Deadpool is the only person that got Hugh to say yes to the role, again after having said never again. Well, that's not Deadpool, that's Ryan Reynolds, but I understand the confusion. If Deadpool 3 is just 90 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine banter, I will still say it was a masterpiece for the ages. Worry not at Maxed Out Vibes because the press run for this film will have you covered. This announcement for the film was of course the launch of this snark and bark duo, and literally a day later we got a part 2 to it, in which we got more of their anticipated banter. But the bit I want to talk about is towards the end. I'm talking about the Polaroid slideshow showing us Reynolds and Jackman over the years, ending on the picture of them with director Sean Levy. It's a slideshow that communicates us the sentimentality behind the film, the narrative that their friendship extends beyond the screen. This meta-storytelling is then part of not only the marketing, but also the film's justification, offering fans not just a film, but an emotional payoff rooted in years of off-screen camaraderie. This curated peek behind the curtain is the MCU's kayfabe that gives them a sense of authenticity and destiny. And guess what? You bet your ass we'll see more of that with the returning X-Men cast members for Avengers Doomsday. Closer to the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, the comedic duo traveled the world posing for thousands of pictures and doing their time, bromancing and bantering on the sets of Vanity Fair, Spotify, Chicken Shop Date, BuzzFeed, Gordon Ramsay, Hot Ones, and Jimmy Kimmel. Without Jimmy Kimmel. That's right, it was a special episode of the show with pure uninterrupted fun between the stars. Jimmy Kimmel Live without the titular Jimmy Kimmel? How did they do this? Is it owned by Disney or something? It is. It is owned by Disney. Let's talk about owned media. Owned media is exactly what it says on the tin. It's media owned and controlled by a brand. In this case, we're talking about Disney. More specifically, we're talking about Disney's ownership of ABC and how they use one of the biggest American networks as a tool for promotional kayfabe, stretching the MCU into everyday media. Programs like Good Morning America,
Oh my gosh, we're rolling. Everybody in character.
The View, and Jimmy Kimmel Live help the Marvel stars extend their on-screen persona in a curated environment. These appearances blur the lines between the actors and their roles. Inside jokes and scripted banter, genuine bond and choreographed chemistry, designed to mirror the dynamics in the films, all whilst generating hype and clicks. Do you remember the headlines and memes about Mark Ruffalo spoiling Infinity War?
Wait till you see this next one. Everybody dies.
It did the rounds all over the web. What got people talking more than the really non-existing spoiler was the comedy of it all. Don Cheadle trying to stop Ruffalo mid-sentence, then Ruffalo's nervous realization of what he just said. And would you look at that? It's an interview conducted at Disney's own D23 Expo by ABC's Good Morning America, which later got its own highlight on Jimmy Kimmel Live with Don Cheadle reacting to it. The whole thing was clearly manufactured to create headlines and memes, whilst also planting a little seed of doubt in the minds of the fans about the fate of our heroes.
That was genius! We got more press from that than the whole premiere!
Saying everybody dies is not even a real spoiler. It's a comedic line you say when somebody says they don't want to get spoiled. Anyway, I'm done trying to prove something as obvious as this and move on to another similar example. Tom Holland accidentally spoiling the Infinity War poster on Instagram Live. This is not just a poster reveal with a little bit of spice to it to create some head-turning articles, but also a meta way to generate hype for the chaotic and excitable Peter Parker. Tom Holland. I can't wait to see how this confused teen will fit among the other seasoned heroes. Does this scripted live stream on Tom Holland's Instagram mean his social media, and as an extension, the social media accounts of the other MCU actors can additionally be categorized as owned media? In total, these social media accounts have a ridiculous amount of reach, so it shouldn't come off as a surprise for Marvel to want to use this as an extension of their promotional instrument, especially when it doesn't even seem like you're being promoted something. That's the beauty of social media, isn't it? No resistance towards ads because half the time you don't realize it is one. Look at that! RDJ is back in the MCU and reading his buddy Jeremy Renner's book on set. The MCU family is something else, I'm telling you. Oh man, these guys are too much. What? The Thunderbolts were the new Avengers all along? Wow. I guess you gotta see these films opening weekend if you don't want to get these things spoiled for you. Make sure you know that for next time. I am almost certain the insane salaries the actors receive from being part of the MCU also covers the marketing and promotion they're tasked with after the film, whether that's playing Family Feud on Kimmel or handing the keys to your social media. A few months ago, an interview excerpt of Maya Hawke did the rounds online, when she shed light on film producers' prioritization of Instagram followers when it comes to casting roles. Whether or not this is a practice Marvel is a part of, I don't know, but it sure fits in with their business model, which is partly designed to constantly remind you of their existence. Once an actor becomes part of the MCU, they become a sort of brand ambassador by design. Pedro Pascal, who over the last few months was busy promoting The Last of Us, more recently The Materialist, and very soon Eddington, is involuntarily also promoting the Fantastic Four, because interviewers drooling for the next big headline are of course asking him about his stretchy limbs. This brings us to earned media. Publicity and exposure gained through non-paid means. Casting actors with large digital footprints helps Marvel maintain a near continuous presence in our daily scrolls. It's constant, isn't it? When you have trapped hundreds of actors in the green abyss over the years, you're bound to receive publicity through their independent little ventures and public appearances. It's like how rich people talk about their investments. Your money should work for you, not the other way around. And who says you cannot incorporate earned media into your kayfabe as well? Gwyneth Paltrow being unaware she was in a Spider-Man movie on Netflix's The Chef Show is a great example of this.
Well, yeah, we were in Spider-Man together. Remember we were on Spider-Man?
We weren't in Spider-Man.
Yes, we were.
Homecoming.
You were in Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I was in Avengers.
Whether or not the Hollywood dame being above the theme park movies was just for show doesn't matter. It created a headline with a much wider appeal than the Infinity Stones. This whole thing thankfully happened just a month before the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, allowing for the cast to hop on the bandwagon in their press tour and squeeze some more drama and memes out of it before it runs dry.
I mean, I've only worked with Gwyneth one time on Spider-Man Homecoming, which she doesn't remember. She came up and she asked me for a photo. And I think she posted it and she said, Robert Downey Jr., myself, and this guy.
Meaning like, I forgot his name.
So we deal with the ramifications of the blip, of the death of Tony Stark. Sorry to anyone who hasn't seen the film. If you haven't, then you're living under a rock. No, it's...
You were in it.
Haven't seen...
You were in it.
I haven't seen it.
I should note, playing the press game and doing the rounds on gimmicky YouTube talk shows is of course not limited to the MCU. In a time where trailers seemingly don't get the job done, you're tasked to promote your film in ways that aim to pierce through people's algorithms in any way possible. That's why the cast of The Materialists needs to up the quirk when choosing between sneezing glitter or farting bubbles. Is that correct? While Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney had to field the relationship rumors behind the scenes for Anyone But You. The thing that differentiates the MCU from the rest, however, is the constancy. Just like the films themselves, there's a serialized storytelling outside of these films to go along with the cinematic universe, such as feuds, inside jokes, callbacks, and skits. While they don't intersect, they constantly build off of each other.
But the hood has me nervous. Is the hood green? Please tell me Mr. Ramos is not replacing me as Dr. Doom via Parker Robbins. Is there something you're not telling me?
Soon enough, Pedro Pascal won't have to answer a single question about the Materialists. But Reed Richards, that's forever.
You are playing Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic.
He's now a part of the serialized machine. The same machine all of them are trapped in. As I have said before, even when these actors are not promoting Marvel, they are. And Mickey Mouse's right-hand man, Jimmy Kimmel, will make sure of that. Tom Hiddleston was on the show recently promoting The Life of Chuck. What's the video title, you ask? Tom Hiddleston on Avengers Doomsday. Moonwalking in the Life of Chuck and working with Mark Hamill. Here's the title for John Bernthal's clip promoting The Accountant 2. John Bernthal on Tom Holland's Spider-Man audition. New film with Ben Affleck and Wailing James Love. Chris Pratt gets asked about Star-Lord's return, promoting The Electric State, and James Marsden. You cannot make this up. James Marsden. He gets asked what clues we were given by the X-Men clips used at the credits for Deadpool and Wolverine, a film he wasn't part of. That's right, your last appearance as a superhero might have been more than a decade ago, but the cutoff point for being an X-Men or any superhero simply does not exist. The world may have moved on, but if they run out of ideas, they will call again and spin a story on the sets of ABC and other media outlets, selling it as a legacy piece and an honor for everyone to be a part of, concealing the reality that it is simply easy cash earned through insatiable fandoms. Tell me, what's more beautiful than Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire getting to reprise their roles as Spider-Man one last time, being able to say goodbye to the fans? Until next time, of course. The films are sold as a full circle, but a closer look will reveal it's a spiral. I want to say these actors' lives don't revolve around Spider-Man like they make it out to be on these shows. But for Andrew Garfield, I do think his life revolved around Spider-Man during his press tour for Tick Tick Boom, a project he described to be deeply connected to his grief over his mother's death.
I love talking about it, by the way, so if I cry, it's only like, it's only a beautiful thing.
Who cares? Is he in the next Spider-Man or not? It seemed like it was a daunting few months for him, constantly having to lie and pretend not to be tangled in the MCU's web, which only made people more suspicious. People really wanted to know if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to appear in No Way Home, and luckily they could get to Andrew Garfield by doing interviews for Tick Tick Boom. This was easy promo for Disney, without them having to move a single muscle. And when the discourse got dry, it only took a leaked picture of Garfield as Spider-Man to freshen things up, putting even more pressure on him to keep a straight face. All on the back of his promo for his Netflix musical. This leads us to something I've been itching to talk about. Something that baffles me. Have you ever watched a trailer for a film which stars one or two MCU actors and scroll down to the comments to find comments like these? Spider-Man and Yelena Belova are something I never knew I needed together. A24, The Materialists. Me, 50 Shades of Steve Rogers. The Batman and Punisher team up we didn't know we needed. No way. Peacemaker versus Shang-Chi. The closest we'll ever get to that, lol. Why don't filmmakers ever give Elizabeth Olsen a real child? You get the point. Audiences' perception of these actors is clearly heavily impacted by their MCU or DCU persona. Whether or not seeing Batman and the Punisher team up is an actual intrigue behind The Accountant 2 for some people, a film that doesn't feature either character, I don't know. But the amount of comments linking and referencing actors to their superhero persona speaks to how strongly the characters have fused with the public personas of the actors who play them. I used the term brand ambassadors for these actors before, but perhaps more troubling than that, they have become a living avatar for their franchises, with their off-screen identity shaped, even overshadowed by their role in the Marvel Universe. This is also where the outcry about the death of movie stars comes from. Oh my god.
Like Anthony Mackie isn't a movie star, the Falcon is a movie star. When you went to the movies, you went to go see the Stallone movie. You went to go see the Schwarzenegger movie. Now you go see X-Men.
Instead of the actors, the intellectual property or the studio has become the star. Although it might seem like I'm straying away from the video's main topic, this cultural shift is in part a result of Marvel's successful kayfabe. The Marvel machine doesn't just cast actors, it absorbs them, rebrands them, and packages them as extensions of the larger narrative universe. If the MCU has taught Hollywood anything, it's that superheroes are not merely characters now, but cultural brands. Meaning the actors that step into those shoes face the requirements of becoming an avatar, a brand ambassador, and a real-time content creator. Challenges more akin to that of a wrestler than a traditional actor. With James Gunn in charge of the DCU, time will tell what cues they decide to take from Marvel's playbook. Maybe he wants to remove the DCU from the Disney of it all, the theme park of it all. I mean, he certainly was heard about Martin Scorsese's comments calling the MCU amusement park films, and agreed that there is truth to what he has said. But perhaps the coordinated press tours, curated social media presence, in-character camaraderie, and the blend of narrative and marketing might just be how the game is played now. Or maybe you exchange Marvel's subtlety to Dwayne Johnson's sledgehammer approach. Instead of being implicit, you put your actors in front of a green screen and have them trash talk other superheroes in character, whilst they also hype themselves up with the arrogance of a cocky wrestler. It's clear Dwayne Johnson's past in wrestling made him see through Marvel's shtick and made him decide to approach this whole thing head on. But maybe, just maybe, Black Adam's promotion wasn't a cautionary tale, but the work of a genius ahead of its time.
Josh Brolin!
Thank you for your time. I'm just hopping on here to give a quick shout out to my friend Mike, who helped me write this video. We're very lucky because he has his own Substack where he writes about movies. And I have linked that in the description below. Give that a read. His stuff is very good. But if you enjoyed this, subscribe and stick around, because my next video is going to be an interesting one. It's either going to be about a certain closet that means a lot for cinephiles, or